All right. Thank you so much for joining us, hanging in there. We're here. And let's get started. Okay, now we have even less time than we originally thought we would. So we will get right to it. Um, we're going to cover a couple of different things today with the TrackTik Command Center. I'm Kara. I am the Director of Product Marketing, and I'm joined by Moody and Sean, a Senior Solutions Consultant and a Group Product Manager for all things security operations. If you've been a TrackTik customer for a while, you may recognize them. They've been here. They've both been here for many years and are true experts in the platform. So I'm so happy to have them with me today. Let's jump into Command Center. Can you go to next slide, Sean? And in this time that we have together, we're going to go over, how to organize operation centers for managing geographical areas and sectors, manage dispatching, as well as other alerts, how to create those standardized response protocols with calls to action, and keeping security guards safe and keeping everyone safe is really what we're all about and keeping in mind. But before we get right into the details of Command Center, we have some new folks on with us as well as existing customers. So I just wanted to do a quick refresher of Trackforce capabilities. Trackforce consists of end-to-end solutions for security service providers and corporate enterprises, everything from manned guarding operations, mobile patrol, data services and APIs, scheduling, invoicing, and so much more. And so Command Center is our latest innovation of the platform. But if you're curious on any of the other modules that you see here today, you weren't aware that we even had them, that's okay. Leave us a note in the Q&A box and we can follow up with you with some more information. We want to make sure you're aware of everything that Trackforce has to offer. But with that, let's get into Command Center, the reason why you joined us today. So, in short, TrackTik Command Center is your central operations hub for managing any type of security event. An event could be a security guard that signals a panic alert in the field. Something went wrong. They need help right away. It could be a building alarm that was triggered. There could be something that needs to be checked on there, or a late scheduled call from a lone worker. They're by themselves. They're not calling in when they're supposed to. We need to make sure that they're okay ASAP. It gives you all of this information, and that's just naming a few in that one window view. So your team can have greater visibility and take action quickly if it's necessary. So, and then real-time monitoring and dispatch. Operators that are using the command center really can have that clear, coordinated approach with all those different moving pieces. And it even connects with external vendors that you may be contracting with for certain sites to dispatch someone with a vendor. And okay, and we did the poll question. I know a lot of you answered. Maybe I'm not sure if we can launch it again, but that was awesome. I know we got a fair amount of responses, but let's launch that again and see what we can get. What actions create the most friction with your patrol and dispatch operations today? We'd love to hear from you. We love hearing from, professionals like yourselves to make sure that what we're building, what we're prioritizing is really meeting the needs of our customers. And so I see these answers coming in. Take a couple more seconds to respond if you can. Perfect. All right, responses are slowing down a little bit. Let's share those results. And definitely almost 80% of people or respondents are struggling the most with monitoring job status and completion. So Moody, Sean, let's absolutely touch on that when we get to the demo and we're talking through those different scenarios. Alrighty. So I'm going to hand it over to Moody to talk through, and Sean to talk through the platform and some scenarios where Command Center is especially useful.
Thanks, Karen. So definitely within the TrackTik platform, we want to ensure that not only for our security companies, customers, but also for their employees, that safety is a top priority. So we want to ensure that their job is done efficiently with the tools to mitigate any dangers. The TrackTik Guard app has the great feature of the panic alert, with one of the best ways to notify the dispatch center for your location and any urgent request that's needed. So we're going to take a look at the enhanced command center, which is giving you an uncluttered view and prioritizing any high alerts. So Sean, I'll leave it to you.
Thanks, Moody. If everybody can see my screen, that is awesome. I'm just going to pop up my mobile device. So this is a great example of, what we can do with a panic button is, we need to protect our users out in the field. And when they trigger a panic button, we should have an action and somebody go and make sure that they're safe and secured, right? We want to protect our most important asset to me is the security company's employees are actually doing the job out in the field. So if you can see my screen, I'm just going to pop open my mobile device here. And on this side, I've got the command center open. So I'm just going to make a little change here. I'm just going to put my date range to today's date, just to grab my filters here. And on this side, I'm going to trigger a panic alert. So we'll see that the panic alert is going to be triggered. Perfect. I'm not going to rely on this. And I'm going to see that I have a new record come in for my panic alert. So directly right here, I can have the panic alert. It shows visibly for the user. I know that there was a comment in the polling that said something about to do with assigning tickets. So this allows a user to take a ticket. Now, what I've done here is that you have multiple people working in the same operation center, which is really just a combination of regions. You can be sure that somebody is actually actively looking at this alert here. And we actively look at this alert here, we have the ability to dispatch out to a user the last known coordinates of that employee. So again, we get a triggered panic button alert. I can action off very quickly. And also, if you notice on my screen, I'm not losing any of the information as far as my dispatching goes at the same time. It just opens up a side panel. So again, I'm not moving any focus from your operator's day-to-day job. It's all nicely focused into one area. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. And so now we're going to take a look at some of the other scenarios that will definitely make it easier for you to understand some of the capabilities we have around the alarms. So as part of our commitment to future-proof and use the Internet of Things, some of our advancements are to ensure that TrackTik can be AI first when it comes to how we can trigger any alarms or predictive remote guarding. So let's look at an alarm trigger by a camera system that's created with our dispatch requests based on image recognition.
Excellent. Okay, I'm just going to pop over my screen one more time for you guys. Give me 1 second here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to get a colleague actually to trigger an API call right now as a camera would recognize it. So this is all available with the integrations, but if we detect something that's going on in the field, we want to be able to send information to our system, grab that, and then dispatch out the proper user. So I'm going to go ahead and get my colleague to submit this. And you can see on the side here, when the dispatch is submitted, I haven't done anything yet as far as like a person as an operator. You can hear on my mobile device that I did receive the dispatch. Now, if you look at the screen here, what you're going to notice is I haven't done anything. I have a new dispatch that came through, and you notice it's already assigned to a user. This Moody, and everybody here is on the call, this is actually leveraging our smart auto assign technology. So smart auto assign is based on a bunch of rules that you can set up, and it just identifies who you should dispatch out to the user to. And there's some, rules that you can put in place to dispatch out this user if they have the proper asset to get this job, etc. So it really brings everything, and now you don't need a body to actually manually assign the dispatch. It just goes seamlessly to the user. Now, using Smart Auto Assign, also, if the user wanted to reject the task, it would kick back to the dashboard and then go through the rules again and assign it to somebody as well. It also can be leveraged for vendors at the same time.
Thanks, Sean. That sounds like some really cool stuff that we're doing. So
Well, I think so, Ruby.
getting back to safety, one of the last parts of our incredible new platform for Command Center is around how we can maintain a level of assurance when it comes to the safety of the officers in the field when they're working on their own, and there are some scheduled check calls that are needed. We have many notifications for many things that are delivered by text and email. Check calls when officers are working late are important because we have to identify where an officer works for that shift and needs to be monitored. So Sean, let's show how we manage this missed check calls from an officer in the field.
Yep, not a problem. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to close this here. And okay, so we have lone worker checks, and lone worker check basically tells us to the system, it says, hey, I want to check on Moody, is the employee on the field, and I want to check on you every 15 minutes. And he goes through his check, and if he misses his check, we can actually have here, I'm just going to open up my filters to the week. We get what we call as a late 1010. And a late 1010 is going to allow you to know the user that missed the check call. It's going to generate an exception. And again, you can have the ability to take the ticket. As far as the user goes, it all depends on lone workers and what area I'm in, right? So because I'm checking on Moody every 15 minutes, Moody might be dispatched out to a site that I feel, or in a run sheet that I feel that it might be a little bit more dangerous in certain areas. So I can actually override his late checking calls for the instance that he's at that specific site and change the frequency. Every 15 minutes, I'm going to bug Moody every 5 minutes. Now, that's great that we can do it all through the system, but if you ever have a scenario where you have to do anything with a lone worker and you want to override it as far as an operator goes, Moody calls me and says, listen, I feel really dangerous here. Can you check on me every 5 minutes, please? Not a problem. I can check on the lone worker. I can see the request that the lone worker has done. And if I click on the lone worker, I've got this little tab here that I can set lone worker frequency. And what this does, it just allows me to go directly here and change his lone worker frequency from the system. Moody's going to get the update on his device instead of checking in on every 15 minutes, can ask every 5 minutes. Once he's done his activities or on the job that he's all completed, he goes back to his initial spot, which probably would be the zone. His lone worker frequency is then going to default back to what we currently have. So again, this is all to make sure the employee is safe. You can designate certain areas and sites as being a little bit more dangerous and have a better frequency. Or if the user that's in the field that really feels in a little bit of danger can call your operator and they can make the call to change the frequency of the lone worker.
Thanks, Sean. Back to you, Kara.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Even with a late start, we managed to get through everything, cover some really great stuff. So I'm so glad. I'm impressed with both of you right now. And we still have time to answer some questions. So if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A panel instead of the chat. In the Q&A box, you can type your question. We can provide an answer, and we'd love to get all of your questions answered now if possible. So we have a couple questions available. All right, so we have some people, some current customers, I'm assuming, asking how does this function or with the current dispatch functionality that's in the TrackTik platform. Sean, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, no problem. So the current dispatch functionality in the platform is still going to stay and remain as of now, the way it is. The command center, what it actually does, it brings in more of a persona-based viewpoint, right? So you're not inundated with a bunch of tabs that users can see. And if you're already familiar with our dispatch through the portal that you'll know that there's some clicking and you lose the context of your screen when you create a new dispatch and stuff like this. This really puts the focus on the persona. It also brings in the idea of assigning tickets and taking tickets. And it also does the additional actions as dispatching out based on a panic alert. If somebody's a late 1010, doing the override frequency through the operator viewpoint. So it's more flexible. It also works a lot better with the vendor management tool as well that we have. So there's going to be a lot more possibilities in the command center as far as like a persona-based operator. It just cuts out the noise.
Awesome. Yeah, it really makes it super specific for the operator to use and they're focused. Another question, is this available as part of the Guard Tour suite or buying separate? So this is going to be, it works with the Guard Tour Suite, but it is a separate add-on, and the cost structure is going to depend on the size of your operations. It will scale up or down based on that. So if you are interested, we'd love to get you some more information on what that would look like for you. You can reach out after the webinar, contact your CSM, or talk to your account executive on what exactly this would look like. And how comprehensive is the logging and tracking of these incidents? Can they be reported on with data labs?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Kara, if
Perfect.
that's all right. The short answer is yes. This is part of our data strategy to have a higher quality of data within the TrackTik platform. So giving you not only the reporting details and also including some metadata, which would include when and where and the geolocation of any of the information. So by having this integrated tool, you'll be able to have a higher performance of information related to tickets.
Perfect. All right. Another question. With dozens of sites, is there any way to see an at-a-glance status of scheduled tours which haven't been completed? Is this Command Center module required to see that?
Do you want me to take that or do you want to take it, Sean?
No, you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Moody. I'm just thinking in my head, as far as Command Center, there is no tour logs as far as the viewpoint goes there. Moody, you can take it over for the remainder section, also the data lab and blah, blah.
Yeah, no problem. So thanks for the question. And definitely one of the things we want to highlight is that our data lab and data strategy includes consolidating the information. So we have some really great defined dashboards that can collate a lot of the scheduled tours and information. So definitely reach out to your client success manager and they can walk you through some of those views that you can now have within the system.
Awesome. And it looks
And
like
just
we're
sorry,
getting...
yeah, and just
Oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
Kara. Yeah, I mean everything what he said was fantastic. Just made me think of something. If anybody that's on the call that's a current client that's not aware, it is possible to have a dispatchable task and associated with a tour at the same time. So your user will arrive on site, complete the tour as well as a dispatch at the same time.
Good clarification. Thank you. It looks like we got a couple of questions, kind of similar theme. Can I set it for a particular site or generic to all CTAs? Can dispatch instructions be customized on a site-to-site basis?
Yes. Yeah. So that's actually the phone is still pinging lone worker because
Get going, Sean. Yeah.
I am safe. I'm sitting at home. We're all good in my office. Yeah, it's a great question. So call to actions, we have all these call to actions inside the system. I can actually just bring my screen up quickly for you guys as well. I'm just going to click confirm my presence. But we have all these great call to actions, right? And every call to action tells a user to do something. So if I want a panic alert and I really want to put more things into it, I can say for this panic alert, for this region, I want to give these instructions. And then you just fill out the tab and say, okay, please contact this user. And then we have a preferred contact list that just pulls from the system that you know. Now, in a site-specific world, it's very easy as well. We just do the same thing. We say, okay, for the client, what client do you want to apply this to? And then you would put, now, I don't have any clients in my region right now, but this is how you would create and do it for the clients at the same point. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
and then
that was
it is visible to the operator because if you go back to the main screen, sorry guys, I know I'm taking a little bit of time here, but if I went back to the main screen and looked at the panic alert here, I should have some instructions here if I set them up, which is please contact the user and come here to the contact list and I can see the contacts for the user and Trent Williams, the site contact, and then any emergency contacts as well. Now,
awesome. Perfect. And then we have a question about camera analytics integrations. So these are done through integrations with a camera vendor. We just launched integrations with Imix and Skyla. So those are brand new. Stay tuned. We'll be kind of doing more communications about those integrations in a few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be doing some more communications around that. And then it looks like we're a couple minutes over time. So I'm going to, if we didn't get a chance to answer your question, I will reach out to you after this to make sure you get the information that you need and your question is answered. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be sending a recording of this section to you. This will be available on demand. So if you have colleagues that didn't get a chance to join that you think would like to see this, we will have this available on demand to watch later. If you have pricing questions, I will put you in touch with the appropriate person to get those questions answered. And that is about it. If you have questions, Sean, if you can go to the next slide super quick. We have more information on TrackTik.com. You can request a demo on that page as well, or send an email. If you're not sure who to contact, you can contact us at hello@trackforce.com. That comes to the marketing team, that'll come to me, and I can put you in touch with the best person to get your questions answered. And real quick, thank you so much for hanging in there during our technical difficulties at the beginning. I'm so glad you hung on and got to see this. And if you have any other questions, reach out to us. There will also be a survey when you close this webinar. If you can take a minute to fill it out, it's just 2 questions, we would really appreciate it. Just want to hear how you're liking the content. Is this the type of thing that you want to see more of from Trackforce? Thank you so much.